Spitting Image did an incredible job at opening up the world of political satire to much wider audiences. It was really watched by every demographic, not just people who kind of followed every twist and turn of politics, but kids who loved it for its songs and its kind of slapstick humour and just the kind of crazy things that the puppets did. So it was very, very accessible as a genre of political satire, and it brought recognition to a very wide range of British politicians, much more than you'd normally expect. So not just party leaders, but the full cabinet, or even backbench MPs and kind of critics within parties, and of course world leaders. Margaret Thatcher was really the drive of the political satire of Spitting Image. She was a kind of gift to satirists because both visually and in her sort of political persona, she was always presented as a man in her dress and her self-presentation. She was extremely aggressive, and she would kind of strut in cabinet meetings behind the backs of her ministers, announcing that I am unanimous on rate capping, who's with me? And she'd smack their bottoms and smack their heads, and they would all be depicted as kind of schoolboys. Politics in the 1980s didn't just have big personalities. It had lots of politicians who were visually unrecognisable, unmemorable. So Spitting Image had to decide what to do with politicians who were just kind of grey suits, if you like. Sometimes they invented characteristics that made them memorable. So Roy Hattersley had a kind of water fountain in his mouth and would always be lisping and spurting out water. So these were things that created a kind of really helpful visual tag. But sometimes they lent into the idea of somebody being a sort of grey character, and famously John Major became this all in grey. His whole body, his face, everything looked like he was a black and white TV character. So if a politician had a sort of dull face, Spitting Image came up with some kind of absurd way in which they could make that face recognisable, and it spanned everybody, whether you loved politics or whether you thought all politicians were just corrupt and venal.